Group study sessions, those are useful. The last time I did a group study session, I'm being very serious when I say this, was 2 years ago. I remember exactly what happened was that really the same thing I'm about to do right now. I did the group study session out of my own free will. So I was forced to do the group study session, and I realized how useful it was. Like, dang, 'cause I always thought I was a person who preferred doing like a solo study session with my tools, with my own pace and all of that. And I actually did that. I was like, oh dang, this is actually way better. This is way faster. I actually feel more motivated to stick with the content over a long duration of time and all of that. And then after I did I did a video akin to this. Um, and I never did a group study session after that. I just did a second one now because I have some free time. I think I probably don't have as much free time as I think. I'm probably neglecting something, but as of now, I think I have the free time to do what I'm doing. So I did a group study session. Oh, for my math question, wow, it was way more helpful. And I think the largest reason is though, even though I like my own peace, even though I like having my own freedom, a lot of the time it's just I'm not very disciplined by myself, especially when it comes to studying, because it's like a very open ended task, right? So usually what I do is I have like, okay, I'm probably behind the class, so I get ChatGPT to explain some concepts, then I do some practice problems, then I mess up like a small thing in the practice problem, then I get a ChatGPT answer, I'm like, oh dang, I understood the concept enough that I move on to the next thing, or maybe I continue work on that. But eventually, it takes longer to do versus like having a group study session where like we do problem by problem, and I see the little tips and tricks that other people have. I think that's like the big thing I'm missing here is that like I don't know if the word is communal knowledge, but just like that small, because like with ChatGPT, you get like a general response on how to do a thing, but there's little tips and tricks that like you don't pick up. Like for example, when it comes to finding the radius of convergence, I'm saying that wrong with like limits and stuff like that. There was a way that one of the other people like he wrote out the problem. Like dang, that's much simpler. But then ChatGPT has its own strict way of doing it, and I think like due to limitations of um how it can display the math, it's like there's certain stuff you just can't pick up on, right? So it's like that's why I think one of the biggest limitations are. I think that's why it's so useful to actually do group studies such as I'm hoping to do more of them, especially as I'm wrapping up the semester, because I really want to end off my classes with an A. And I don't think if I continue doing things I've been doing before, I'm going to end up there. But yeah, I do think it's interesting on both ends. Like with the ChatGPT thing, it's not something I just clocked in my head. It's like with the math, it's not as simple as just like line by line. There's certain stuff that you just have to cancel out. Like when you're canceling out terms, like there's certain ways like concepts click easier than versus like with ChatGPT. What happens is that usually it just skips steps. Right, it's like oh, sometimes it's like intuitive enough for you to like understand what happened in between, but other times it's like you think you understand, but then there's like when you're doing it late, it's like why did that happen? And you missed a thing. And I think that's something I'm really interested to see, like how that moving forward, how that's dealt with. Because I don't think that's something you pick up immediately. As like, funny enough, I was reading a blog post by the my interviewer for the NVIDIA Ignite thing, whole other thing. But it was also a similar idea with like developer productivity and satisfaction, and there's like little things that you just don't pick up on that like it's not easy to quantify. So for example, when it comes to this was his example, not mine. So if it's bad or good, that's not up to me. When it comes to using like new developer tools and something like that, the people who are recently onboarded, there might be some friction there that's not easy to verbalize unless you're a very talkative person. So like little things like that, it's not as easy to pick up in a survey or something like that. I think that's like the key idea here with ChatGPT and the limitations. Because it's a really small thing, but then that small thing might actually be the might be the difference between someone who understands the concept in 2 hours versus someone who understands the concept in like 5 hours. So that's really interesting. Also, just like the group study session, I really do think it's just much more productive. I think what I'm always worried of, especially for math, is if I'm really, really behind, it's like I won't be more of a burden. I'm not like, because you won't have like people who are 5 steps ahead, that I'm like still like 5 steps behind. It's like that's going to keep on going on. So you can't really be working, you can't be practicing at the same pace or acquiring knowledge at the same pace because they're in a whole other city essentially, and you're still like 2 cities behind. Um, no, so I think I'm really hoping to make sure I keep up that pace. 'Cause I think this is a good strategy moving forward, especially on Mondays, because Mondays are my most free days. I actually love it, and it's boring, but it's a good boring. In fact, usually my days are packed. Like I already know Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday I'll be very packed with a bunch of stuff. So I like having my boring Monday where I can just like relax. And like if I make a mistake or if I do something for for a for too long, I still have like time to make it up. Like still have time to be more productive. So that's really nice. But yeah, group study sessions are helpful. Hopefully, I do another one. Not in not waiting for 2 years to do another one. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. Besides that, though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.